I'm talking about how I got to the summit with Parkinson's and foot wounds and a lot of help from people, encouragement from people, and I wanted to kind of talk about that today. I know that there's been a lot of things written at times, and a lot of special people have written what could they have done different with their father. You know, Ryan Reynolds laments that, what happened with his father, and then he thought since his father didn't have the typical Parkinson's syndromes, he had gone nuts.
Story, which is diagnosed at a pretty young age.
Yeah,
My
dad was 47,
47, yeah, and denial for a long time.
Yeah.
In fact, we didn't name it for a long time.
No. And that might have said Parkinson's, I think, 3 times in his entire life. It's to me
generational, and the kind of, my dad's from the Midwest. It's a little more, you know, they didn't have therapists in the town where he lived.
No.
But the idea that it took years before we named it.
Yeah.
And it was always the neurological thing, like that has a neural, and then finally my sister and I were like, is the neurological thing Parkinson's disease?
Yes.
The Michael J. Fox?
Yeah.
And they go, well, yes, it is. So that was kind of your experience as well?
Absolutely. But I can also see why neurological condition might sound a little bit less threatening or vulnerable than Parkinson's disease. You hear disease, you go, oh. It was my experience exactly, to a T. Like you and I and your pop, I mean, that's the exact same roadmap. And I understand it, you know, I get it. My dad was like a prideful kind of guy who I think his physical strength was was a huge asset to him. You know, he didn't go to college, he didn't do that, all those things that, like, you know, he wanted for us to do. And did I let him down there. But he was very prideful, and I think that is very common in that age group and those folks who, you know, grew up in that era, you know. And it's interesting to see like how now, like we, you know, having kids at our age and our, you know, it's just so different. There's so many tools available to us. There's so many like resources available to, you know, my kids never believe it, but you know, when Blake and I will go out for dinner or something like that, the entire time is spent talking about how could we be better parents, like how can we like address their needs in ways. It's just like I can't even imagine my parents having those conversations without just going, oh God, this feels like chemotherapy. The cancer's gone. Let's enjoy dinner and let's just live in here forever.
It's so true. We go to these restaurants.
I did a similar podcast with Dr. George Ackerman, and he laments a lot about his mother passing and what might have been done different by caregivers and even himself. So I think that's another thing to kind of keep in mind when you take action. I got clearance from Dr. Dean at the wound clinic on getting the wound vacs removed, and of course that was a big deal, and they had to meet certain criteria there. And then I did the PAD associates. That's the ones that's cleared the blockage in the legs, and they did ultrasound this morning. So I had 2 people look at it to see what we could do next, and I think that for the most part I could be nearby at the villas back over there, but I think we're waiting to see how some of the chemo treatments work out. Chrissy's doing quite well now, and she's calling me and we're having a good conversation, so I know that she's feeling a lot better. So I know that people are trying to keep up with her, and she's over in Caring Bridge to get the details, and I don't want to repeat some of that you can get a more accurate representation from my daughter-in-law Wendy and what she has observed and what she has reported. So let's go for that. But I just want to give you an update. Thanks. The next stage is going to be the summit. It's assisted living. It's kind of a step up, and it's pretty close to my home in the villas. We're kind of hanging out there for at least for a while. Shouldn't be very long till I go back to home. We're still trying to manage the time with Christy been doing her chemo, and Sandy having to take care of her some, and then daughter-in-law being there. I didn't want to have another person here that might enter the picture, so we're going to decide fairly soon, about that. We just felt like, or I did, I was kind of tired of the rehab or the nursing home type facilities. And it's not that they're not a suit for a lot of people, it's just that when you get to a certain stage, there's certain things that you don't want to have people come sign in for you to come and go. And I can avoid that. And there's some other things that will be a little easier in food-wise and other things when you have a little more accessibility to being out and about.
Yeah,
Put your camera on.
I've got the camera on. I got it.
I'm thrilled. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just let you go to wound care. You don't need to keep following with us,
Okay.
okay? Because we've got the vessels open. You're getting blood flow. You're healing. They're doing a great job controlling your swelling. So we're delighted.
Okay.
Our only role in this whole thing was to open those arteries so you could get the healthy blood clear down to your feet to let that stuff heal. And you're progressing so well. I'm so happy.
Well, that's good. I was wondering, all this information goes over to Dr. Dean, I guess.
Of course.
I would think so.
Well, I got clearance from Dr. Dean at the wound clinic on getting the wound vacs removed. And of course, that was a big deal, and they had to meet certain criteria there. And then I did the PAD associates. That's the ones that's cleared the blockage in the legs, and they did ultrasound this morning. So I had two people look at it to see what we could do next, and I think that for the most part I could be nearby at the villas back over there, but I think we're waiting to see how some of the chemo treatments work out. Chrissy's doing quite well now, and she's calling me, and we're having a good conversation, so I know that she's feeling a lot better. So I know that people are trying to keep up with her, and she's over in Caring Bridge to get the details, and I don't want to repeat some of that you can get a more accurate representation from my daughter-in-law Wendy and what she has observed and what she has reported. So let's go for that. But I just want to give you an update. Thanks. Okay, and of course my office that I've had in the past, a lot of those things have been moved over here. I think JJ and Michelle and Wendy and maybe Sandy, Christy helped them some, and they got that all together. And when I was getting checked out over at the other location and moved over here, it was all in place. And you'll see a lot of things you may have seen in other podcasts, or if you go back, you'll kind of see a resemblance there.
The moon, let me play among the stars. Let me see what spring is like on Jupiter and Mars. In other words, hold my hand. In other words, baby, kiss me. Fill my heart with song and let me sing forevermore. You.
From the Summit Senior Living, I'm bringing you the introduction to a podcast that's coming later about transition from what I've been in rehab, and that's about 4 months, April 10th or thereabout, and we're getting into August, and been kind of a long, drawn-out thing. So I think some of you've seen some of the video and how it's been very transparent about it, because having Parkinson's, I wanted people to see some of the things that you go through, some of the things that are side issues, some of the people issues when you have any kind of disability. But when you make the transition, as I have in the recent days, it's kind of an interesting change of pace. And I think, be careful what you wish for, I guess, one of the things. It's kind of funny in that regard, and that you're adjusting to. It's a little bit, you can kind of compare it to being in prison and let out, and what do you do now? And one of the things that came out of this was some good friends, and you'll see the handiwork of JJ and I think Michelle and some other people, Wendy, and no telling who else. I don't have a list yet, but they transitioned the living area that I'm in now. It's kind of, you could call it apartment, because it's got a refrigerator and a washer dryer and about everything you need to live independently. So, obviously we're trying to give a little bit of separation for Sandy and Christy during their period of dealing with the chemo that Christy's had. She was over here today, and she's looking good. She's doing much better, and she's almost being the same personality that before I went into my issue, was because of the wound issues. I had to go into the rehabilitation, and then even the hospital. So it's great to see that she had come through this phase and now doing much better. But I wanted to give you a few fun clips of the transition of the office from the villas to here for me. Hopefully it'll be shorter than longer, but they do have good menu and food, and a little bit like what you go to when you go to some of these country clubs. You go in and have a menu and some food, and not much of anything on prices. It's all out of your budget or whatever. But the other side of that is when you come to a place like this, I was surprised, not totally surprised, but just the overwhelming percentage of women and people that would probably be in a category that might be just a shade older than I am. So it's a different culture.
The room where it happened, the room where it happened. No one else was in the room where it happened. The room where it happened, the room where it happened. No one really knows how the game is played, the art of the trade, how the sausage gets made. We just assume that, but no one else is in the room where it happens. Thomas claims
Alexander was on Washington's doorstep one day in distress and disarray.
Thomas claims
Alexander said,
I've nowhere else to turn,
and basically begged me to join the fray.
Thomas claims
I approached Madison and said, I know you hate him, but let's hear what he has to say.
Thomas claims
Well, I arranged the meeting. I arranged the menu, the venue, the seating.
But no one else was in the room where it happened. The room where it happened. The room where it happened. No one else was in the room where it happened. 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 No one else was in the room where it happened.
Dr. David Dean, Pictures from the Past, and here is his current look.
The legend, how are you, sir?
I'm pretty good. I'm David Dean.
Craig Layer, how are you, sir?
Nice to meet you.
Craig Blair went to Valley Springs too, so
Oh, you were up there with Kenny.
Oh yeah, David was my dad.
David's his
I
younger
knew
brother.
Kenny, but I knew David better.
Best guys I know.
Yeah. Particularly if you want to go fishing or anything.
Oh my gosh, that's how we became friends. He found out I had canoes and a flat bottom.
You got real popular real quick, didn't you?
Real popular. You've made improvement. I looked at your chart.
Lots of improvement.
Are you still at the Hickory Heights thing?
He is. We'd like to move him. We'd like to get him to assisted.
I filled him in on that, and we're kind of wondering why.
Because usually we send backs to assist.
Yeah, why they're
They
saying
won't admit. None of them will admit with vax.
oh with vac, but if you get a vac later, it's okay. Because
That's why it's important to have a person there with boots on the ground. The nurse picked up on it right away. Well, I'm not sure if the other people who are not on the ground with some of these patients figured that out.
was our question is normally that's not that big of a deal.
Well, that's kind of what we're thinking, the strategy.
Trying to work an option for him.
And Dr. Dean is the best at strategy.
Strategery.
Or if you know of a place, but I'm 0 for 6 on. And I've
0 for
called-
6.
I've called some good. I mean, I've called a bunch.
So that's the trick, Doc. You can't go in with one, but you can get one later.
Well, you know, if you go in and stay off your feet, it's ideal.
That's that flap I was talking about.
Yeah. But it's the staying off your feet in assisted living. You're going to have to do a wheelchair.
Well, to see having an electric
He's
wheelchair
already in one.
makes a difference.
Yeah, but I mean, your feet aren't going to take a joke. So there are these shoes that are called heel relief shoes.
Well, you don't think the ones I've got work?
I mean, they're okay. Yeah, they're okay. They're
Well,
not.
I mean-
They're not as much as we'd like.
Well,
To be
that's what I'm
honest.
saying. These were,
We need to get
we
you.
didn't know what we were getting and we didn't know why we were getting it. And now we probably know a little bit more.
Yeah, you know a little
So
bit more.
the Globopede cost more, but
I can get you a picture of
if
it.
you keep your feet flat on the floor, that's the other thing. There's lots of ifs in this, okay?
I know.
If you keep your feet flat on the floor or flat on the pegs of your wheelchair, and ideally your wheelchair would have footrests.
They do.
They're just, they're elevated today, I see. They're turned up.
Oh, yeah, they're a little flimsy because it's a cheap chair, but there's
No, that's pretty good.
that gets you by.
And when they're down, they're solid.
Okay.
But you know, we're kind of trying to get past a
Go
few
ahead
things.
and put something on this one. Or pull him out from the wall.
Yep.
There we go. That looks good.
So what do we think about keeping the vac going for now? You want to wait a little bit and
Well,
Us
I mean, if you were able to go to assisted living, when would you do it?
Friday.
In 2
we're out of
days.
time, yeah. We're out of time at the rehab,
Oh, okay.
which is why we're scrambling.
You're
we
behind the
can
eight
go
ball.
to another
Mhm.
rehab, but it would be like a true nursing, and none of those look very good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not really too much into rehabs or nursing right
All
now.
right, so you could literally get in Friday because you're out of time at the rehab. Okay. If I go get a picture of the shoe that we really would
We've
like
been
you to
using
have.
Prisma under the vac, right?
Yeah, what?
This
do
is the
Pris-
longest note ever.
Let's do Prisma today.
That's okay. You want
And
anything
then-
over it?
Yeah, let's do a 2-layer light.
You're
on
right.
this
We have
thing.
been doing. Yep.
Prisma and a 2-layer light.
Okay. Great.
And
You want some draw text or OptiLocks?
OptiLock.
Okay. I shall return.
But if you tell me we're making a mistake, let me know. I don't want
Well, we won't know till later.
to. Yeah.
it's just frustrating that
Yeah.
people put impediments.
Well, it's been a long time though, 6 months. See, I started here, as I said, New Year's Eve. And so I've, ready to.
Wherever you go, you really got to focus on protein. We want you to take 90 grams of protein a day to help heal this.
Does it have to be liquid, or can you do
No,
something?
you can have rib eyes, prime rib.
Well, I had some oysters the other day. They had a lot of
Fine, yeah, but you need 90 grams of protein a day. You need a
What did I
lot.
say earlier?
90 grams of protein.
He kind of admitted he wasn't the greatest about hydration and protein right now. He's gonna work on it.
Yeah, I promise.
He told
you.
on himself.
So is that the next thing? Next big thing I got to do is protein?
Well, consistently, yes. 90 grams of protein a day.
Stay
We
healthy.
would like to keep you from getting big, so I would cut out some of your carbs. The more carbs you cut out, the better. Dairy has a lot of protein, but it has a lot of fat, and so it's kind of a trade-off. How much do you weigh?
Well, weight's going down. It's about 185.
That's pretty good for you.
Well,
If we could keep it there while you take 90 grams of protein a day, it'd be ideal.
and maybe the reason I'm going down is because some of the other.
Wearing the offloading shoes all the time. And if you can get the Globopede, I would do it. They're at Snell's, New Hope, Hortons. They all have them. Yeah. Here, I'll get that.
Can we get rid of that? Yeah, that'd be fabulous. Okay. Right behind you. You gonna lower him back down?
That's perfect.
Okay. Here we go, friend.
So you're putting those on? Or that
Yep.
on?
All right, here, just take the
Okay.
minimum overlap on this layer.
You know how I talked about compression a little while ago?
Well, yeah. Well, the one to do. And we got a way to put the foot backs down.
Hmm.
Are we not putting the foot backs down? Or
Nope.
are you?
Nope.
Nope. Okay.
Set you up for your discharge.
You can go to your new digs,
So I'm,
but we still want to see you weekly. Will that work?
well, you can count on that.
Okay.
This is the one place I'll go weekly. There's other places I don't care about going. I don't mind coming here.
Yes, sir. Well, we'd still like to keep on going on that. This will be a weekly wrap change, okay?
That's like the people in senior adult one over at the Baptist church. They've only got one class to promote to. None of them are too excited about it.
Well, you got some people.
We're gonna have to go back and do that.
Yeah, we are.
So what do they do there at where I am? Just discharging me?
They can discharge you. You can go to assisted living. If you're at the end of their rope, there's no reason to go reinvent this somewhere else.
Correct.
Yeah, there's a certain thing I found out about that PCP deal and
Yeah.
a few other things. and plus the fact that you have to check in and out when you're 81-year-old, that gives a little bit.
Checking in and out was difficult.
Well, when you're 81, you think you still got your mental capacity. I mean, I see a lot of people there that need help checking in and out.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you question my mental?
I will.
You question my mental capacity?
No, you seem pretty aware of what's going on with you.
Okay, well.
I don't know about finding your way around town or driving a car.
Well,
Those are separate issues.
I've I'm backed into a few cars.
But you, well, who hasn't? Now we've got cameras and alerts to help us prevent it. Our kids will never understand what we've gone through.
Isn't that the truth?
Well,
Your son's the lawyer. Confidence is a legal term. It's not a medical
I
term.
don't think they take you in and out.
That
They take you in and out because they want to know where you are. So medicine.
well, I mean, there are people that are no longer confident to move around independently. They would get lost. They would be disabled, and they would be vulnerable. And so, you know, that is a separate issue, and
And sometimes you can't drive because you can't feel your feet. That's
Also,
like,
there's that,
you
yep.
You know where you're going, you just can't get there.
I had one patient that was an amputee, and he just drove with the buttons,
yeah.
but he still had to brake. And
Didn't he have a pole?
he would use his prosthesis to brake, and he would use a cane to brake. And
Scary.
well, he lived on the bottom of a hill on a downhill driveway. And one day, as he turned into his driveway, his prosthesis came off, his cane fell out of reach, and he stopped by hitting a tree head on. So, you know, he was a redneck from the word go. I used to go deer hunting with him. We were in the same deer club growing up. And he wound up being my patient
I'm gonna
here.
go get another little piece of green for the
Yeah, there's another one. He's a good
go-rounds.
friend of Ken John's is Sam Alexander, and he had polio, and
The light.
he gets around better
Second
than
layer.
anybody.
It's green and purple.
He does what you're
I
saying.
think you've got enough. So, you know, you have to figure out how you feel, but there's so many options right now. I mean, we're not to the complete Tesla self-driving car, but there's Uber. There's this thing called Links, where if you're within half a mile of a bus route, they'll come get you and round robin you around. It's part of the bus service, and I think that's like $3 one way, and you can buy a book of tickets. And so Links works well. It just requires us to fill out a little paperwork, and they'll take care of your transportation, and they're wheelchair accessible. And
Which one is that?
it's called Links, Rock Region Metro LINKS.
But they take you to a bus and the bus takes you?
No, they have cars, and they have vans, and they
You just
have
have to have like a
mini
48-hour
buses with wheelchair
prior.
lifts.
Okay.
But you can have a standing reservation. You can go to the store, you can go to the rep, you can do whatever you want to. They'll pick you up and take you. They're part of the bus service. I don't think they go beyond bus service hours.
Yeah.
Right.
And they don't,
That could be handy to get him.
it's really handy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uber, just getting in that.
Well,
car is not-
right, and just to have that as an option.
But that does require some paperwork, so we can fill out our part
Yeah.
and print it out for you.
That'd be good, because this is gonna move pretty fast, and I gotta go
Pull that up over here.
I gotta go see my PAD guy tomorrow.
For your follow-up, yeah.
So I guess I can still do that through where I am now.
I would hope so.
I wouldn't
They haven't kicked you out yet.
Yeah.
And if you violate their rules, what are they gonna do? Kick you out?
Yeah, exactly.
You sound like they're just about to
You're
anyway.
like my daughter at governor's school last day. She went to Taco Bell, and they said, we're kicking you out. So she had to come home like 12 hours early. Her
Taco
mother
Bell.
was mad as hell. I just laughed and laughed and laughed.
What was the deal? She just didn't go.
They don't allow them to walk across the street.
It was at Arkansas
To get-
Tech, and she walked across Highway 7 to get
Literally
Taco
across
Bell
the street,
at like
yeah.
1 a.m. And there happened to be one of the counselors from governor's school in there. Of course, she was wearing her badge. She wasn't being stealthy.
That's true.
I gotta start this call.
Okay.
I'll see you outside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, they're pushing it. That's good.
There you go. Yay. Okay, I'm gonna go get the piece of paper that has the picture of the shoe on it, okay?
All right.
For you.
That's a,
Eligibility. Do you need a enlarged reading? Would a 18-point font help you?
I would think so. I don't know.
Talking to me or Mr. Laird, dog?
Well, he's the one that has to read it. Not mine.
Thought you were making fun of my.
So, what did you think about your daughter going across the street? You think that's typical of her nature?
Kind of funny, you know.
I mean, it's literally across
She
the
was
street
18
to,
years old. She had been able to drive to Taco Bell.
and about to go to college.
So, what you saw happening there in that meeting was that we had a doctor there, and we had my attorney there, and my financial planner or CPA. Again, two of those positions there are my son, and the other's Dr. Dean. But I've been in technology for years. And I've seen this happen quite a bit as to how the sausage is made in technology and how you can get a group of people together and make a decision quite fast, get action items, and get going. But with this makeup of people, it's pretty rare that you can get those group that have a lot of situations. Again, I'll say that the relative part of one of them makes a difference, but still doesn't happen very often. I've been in a business where, you know, the entrepreneur tries to find out things that he's trying to do and how he's going to do it, and the attorney comes along and tells you all the things that's going to go wrong. So there's a lot of factors that just go with the personality of the people that are there. And to get something done in that fast and based on really some schedules that had been put together and some efforts that's been made. It wasn't just like walked in there with a pipe dream or anything. And when most people who watch my timeline and transparency know all the issues that I've gone through. So I think I just wanted to say some things can be done faster than you might think, but you got to have everybody together and have a plan and have it in place. Well, special wrap up at Hickory Hills or Hickory Heights. Beauty salon was great. They took care of my hair, and I would make trips there, and I wanted to take a special mention there of her and her family. Some of the people you're going to see is more just scenes from their working environment. So you may not see their faces, but they all had special work they did. It was funny, the Chinese cookie there, that fortune cookies.
Yeah, better.
I'm thrilled. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just let you go to wound care. You don't need to keep following with us,
Okay.
okay? Because we've got the vessels open, you're getting blood flow, you're healing. They're doing a great job controlling your swelling. So we're delighted.
Okay.
You know, our only role in this whole thing was to open those arteries so you can get the healthy blood clear down to your feet to let that stuff heal. And you're progressing so well. I'm so happy.
Well, that's good. I was wondering, how this information goes over to Dr. Dean, I guess.
Of course.
I would think so.
Of course. Okay, that's gonna fit there. Let me put you back together. Oh, I want to doppel that first. Oh, I've got it. Open. Oh, hold on, she's still with Jill.
Toe jam football, you got wonky finger, you shoot Coca-Cola, he say, I know you and you know me. Well, one thing I can tell you is you got to be free. Come together right now over me.
Well, I was helping get my friends in from Argentina to do an expert presentation on artificial intelligence about 6 months ago. So we toughed it out through that, and I think we had a good show. And I think we're going to see them back in October. They're working on some schedules. So that's a tip you're getting here. In this podcast is look out for the Argentinas. They're Argentines, I guess, coming back into town. And I think things are really starting to change. So it was really neat to have him there. And I think that opened up another part of the decision making about the vax that are on the wound vax and how we were going to approach that if we're going to go to independent or any other kind of care other than the rehab or nursing home. Yeah, and Cowboy Dale White has been around to visit me in the hospital or rehab more than anyone. Shout out to Cowboy. Again, my day job is technology and dealing with Parkinson's. So this other's just a side detour.
Treat me wrong. Come and love you, daddy, all night long, all night long. Hey, hey, all right.
Free Herb. Free Willie.
Hold me like the river Jordan, and I will then say to thee, you are my friend. Carry me like you are my brother. Love me like a mother. Will you be there? You scold me, when lost will you find me? But they told me a man should be faithful and walk when not able and fight till the end, but I'm only human.
Nights are cool and I'm a fool. Each star's a pool of water, cool water. But with the dawn I'll wake and yawn and carry on to water, water, cool, clear water, water. Keep a moving, Dan, don't you listen to him, Dan. He's a devil, not a man, and he spreads the burning sands with water, water. Dan, can you see that big green tree where the water's running free and it's waiting there for you and me?
Well, my issue is not being hydrated, so cool, clear water. Well, I wanted to finish with a big reminder, stay hydrated. Of course, with the hot weather, I was reflecting back on all the locations that I've been to and installed systems, and I thought there's none better than cool water to end up with. Thanks. Well, from network, I'm mad as hell. I'm not going to take it anymore. Here you see me with Sid Shreve. There's Robin Roberts when she was ESPN. And of course there's old Jim Kramer. And we have some of the local, statewide. Steve Sullivan did a golf event, and Jim Guy Tucker, who passed this year, and he was always a good guest on my podcast. The Mannings, and back to Sid. And Gus Malzahn, and Max. Max on the right. And here's a group out of Taiwan, and having and different people you met. Different people have gone. Taj Mahal, or Hangzhou, or going up in a balloon. And the old Joe Klein, Slater Joe. Have to have the corkies. And there's Christy in the Shadows. We went to a theater. We went to a lot of ball games. Craig O'Neill, he liked to get back at me. Dale White. I even bought some Dale White cups. The pit is for Pittman, not the Pittsburgh. And I'm going to get Bryce, the preacher, out of his environment. I'm sure he was wondering what I get into, and I want to send out to Johnny and Kent. Johnny was a good friend and passed this past year.